Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Commodities Report, starting with Bitcoin, and we can see on the CME here that we're up 8 points, but we're still dominated by hedge funds on the paper side of money here. In the hedge funds are here, so we can see that we've got 54% here compared to 20% here. So there's still that selling pressure in this particular move to the downside at this point. Okay, so in terms of the Elliott wave count from the 25,000 medium level here, we've got orange wave 1, which is minor wave 1, minor wave 2, and we're going up to minor wave 3 way up here. A bit of a messy chart, but 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 up here to the 50,000, where the 61.8% of the last bear market comes to, and that's our sort of target area. Within that, we've got from wave 2 to wave 3 here. We're also looking for 5 waves of 1 degree smaller, which is minute degree here. So blue 1, blue 2 tucked in here, and then all the way up to this top here for wave 3, and we're into wave 4 now. You can see the 38.2% retracement level here, so that comes in just over here, so we'll have a closer look at that at the moment. But between wave 2 and wave 3 here, we've got 1, 2, 3, and we've been working this triangle in here as wave 4. Let's just bring this in here a little bit as an A, B, C, D, E in here for wave 4, and then the first impulse wave up with 1 and 2, and so on all the way up here. The wave 5 was a little bit short, but still made a new high above wave 3, so that's acceptable. It appears that we talked yesterday about a 5-wave move down through here. So yesterday we were looking for an ABC correction to the upside here, so I'll just make adjustments for that, and we're looking for wave C up here of B, and then we're looking for one more move down here. Is it possible wave B could go over here? I don't think so, because it looks like it's little 5 waves up there, but I haven't really pulled it apart. But it also looks like a little ABC pattern here. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Anyway, I'm not that fussed about it. We'll look for buying opportunities down here. So this is the 38.2% coming in around this area here, which would make a lot of sense. So we can expect when the market comes down to a large number like 40k here, we can expect a bounce off it. How that bounce performs and how sort of screwed up it is yet to be seen, but we are seeing it, and we're getting what we're expected. So we'll just see, and obviously there's going to be support from this previous wave 4 here, all through this area here. All of this time spent here, this memory, will be the support over here, which is also, in terms of trading levels, it's group 2 here. So we've got group 1 above 40,000 and group 2 below. We didn't find support on this level up here. It looked like we were going to, but we didn't, and we've fallen out, and we've got the number 2 here. In terms of group 1 here, 1, 2 and 3, if number 2 here becomes the retested resistance, then we normally find we'd be pulled back down to the closest largest number here. But because it appears that we have 5 waves here, so 5 waves here after a correction, then we'll get another 5 here. So we'll start picking up the pieces here and look to, hodling, a great time to move in back down here. Otherwise, in terms of just trades, we will look for that when we get wave C of 4 coming into play. Just before we go to the dollar, just a quick look at the yields here. I think there was a 30-year bond auction last night. I don't know how it went, but I don't think that it wasn't much price movement in there. So they should have just maybe met their targets or something. But yeah, the thing here, I just want to have a look at the bigger picture, is just on the daily chart. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 5 waves up here, right? So we should be looking at after 5 waves, we should be looking at some sort of ABC pattern, and then further upside here. It should be that sort of simple. Now, we know that the Fed's wanting to get down to 2%, which is just above the 2% here. There will be a lot of support over here around the 250, and I think the 30 years are about 265. Let me just check 260, yeah, somewhere in here, 260, 265, 265. So, the Feds are, they don't change their narrative too often, and they're pretty much stuck on that 2%. So, getting it down there will 2.5% or 3% become the new 2%? I have no idea, but I do know that after 5 waves here, we should be getting, an A and a B and a C wave here, and then we go up again at that point. That's all I know. I'm pretty dumb, but that's all I know. So, we've been tracking 5 waves down here, and we're getting the same, on the flip side, yields down, bonds up. So we're getting the same picture here. So I've just drawn a straight line here, but of course nothing goes in a straight line. So that will be in 3 waves to the upside around the 120 for the TLTs here. But this first wave here is still extending out. It doesn't appear like it's sort of there yet, and we can see this incredible volume coming into play here, which we noticed coming into the lows there, and we heard it on the news of, bigger players, hedge funds, switching sides and so on. So anyway, that's where the bonds and the yields are. And then we've just got to figure out the dollar. So the dollars, if we figure out the dollar, then we can figure out gold. So starting with the dollar here, the DXY. So there's always been 2 ways to look at this. Well, it's actually 3, but 2 is fine. So we could look at it as wave 1 over here. So 5 waves down, wave 1 here, then an A and a B and a C wave here. There is a case to put this over here and look at a larger correction here as well, but I don't like that. So this one here as an A and a B and a C, and it's finished there, right? And then from that point we come down here. So we'll need to get 5 waves down, coming down here. Now it's kind of interesting. I could probably squeeze 5 waves down out of this, and but when you look at the euro, you could do that. Let's just assume that it was 5 waves down at this point, then this market can come back to this point here and still go down at that point. So it's quite possible for it to move up to here and then still crash as some sort of ABC to this point and still come down if we look at this as wave 1 over here. But I was looking at wave 1 here and looking for this to move down here and then move up there. So it's a little bit of a tricky one, this one here. The other side to this, of course, just before we get into that, is that we can put this down here as well and look at this here, all of this here as a wave 4, and put wave 4 over here with an A, B, C, D, and E over here for wave 4, and then go down for wave 5. And this wave 5 is a bit short, but it kind of matches up with wave 1 over here. So there is a good case for that. The reason I don't like putting wave 4 here is that I can count 5 waves down here. So if it was a triangle, it should be in 3 waves. So it's not such a great fit for that, but that's just me. So having this here to me is the best fit, which is the A, the B, and the C wave finishing here. But we've got to get 5 waves down there. So we're just not we're not getting that, we're not it doesn't look good at the moment for that. So anyway, I don't know what's going on here at the moment. When I look at this, if I just go to the intraday and just go into the intricacies of what this situation is here. So from the top here, if we do consider this the top over here, we would need wave 1 here in blue, wave 2 here, and then 5 waves down for wave 3 here. And then we'd look at wave 4 here. So the 38.2% is here. So what we need to see here is we need to see this come down here. And if it does come down there, then we can call it wave 1, and then we can look for an ABC pattern here, and then we can go down again at that point. But if this market, finds this say 104 here on the DXY, the 104 is the tested support, well then it's highly likely we're going to be going up at that point. So I've been looking at the euro and the pound, but they got the same problem as well. So I can't see a way of knowing at this particular point in time. So while it's sitting at the 38.2% here, we'll just allow it to be at this point, and let's just see if it rolls over at this point. So I don't know if I know what's going on here, then I can give you a clear indication of what we could do with gold. And silver. That's the takeaway with this. So I just have to wait now for this to play out. Okay, so unfortunately we're sort of stuck in a rock and a hard place there. So this brings us over to gold. Okay, so what I want to do with gold is I want to show you a few counts. But all the counts I will be showing you, they all still mean that there will be a new high made above that spiky high here. So we're on 5,000 ticks here. But so this top here will be taken out at some point in the future. It's just how it does that. And normally I can read the currency market to find out where this is going to go, but that's not the case at the moment. So we'll look at it in a couple of different ways. We can look at it with wave 1 here and wave 2 here, as we've always had it. And then we've had wave 1 here, and then we've had wave 1 up here with a wave 2 here, and pulling back here for a wave 2 in this place here. And this is quite okay here. This would actually be a nice A wave, B wave, and C wave finishing down here. Now, if the US dollar is in a wave 4 and then goes wave 4 and 5, then we'll see this move to the upside at this point. So that's a possibility, right? So that's one possibility, putting wave 2 in here. Now, so that's a bullish count. So that's a possibility. So the other possibilities with this there's a couple of them. As Kitty upon our crypto analyst who loves trading gold, he was also looking at the problem over here, looking at this as the A wave here, just removing this for a moment and removing this and removing this here and removing this here, and putting wave B up there and wave C down here. So that's a long way down. But this is kind of interesting really, because if, coming back to the US dollar here for a moment, if the US dollar breaks to the top side and goes up here, then we'll be looking at going up to 108 up here as an A and a B and a C wave here. We've talked about this on the 2K tick chart here for this. So just coming in here, we've got this as wave C of B here, looking for it to move up into this area here. So if this is the case and it does move up here, then we're going to see gold move on down. So it'll be wave 3, 4, 5 down here for wave 1, back for wave 2, down for wave 3, 4, and 5 here. That's how that will play out. So when you compare this length here to what's going on over here, because this would make 3 waves up here, and the fact that we're going to take that top out is quite simple, is because this move here is in 3 waves. So if it takes this low out here, then it's actually, this move here is actually a corrective pattern. So the corrective pattern could play out like this here, right, as we've got it here in this particular move here. We could also play it out by putting this back over to here. We could put wave 1 here, and we could also put wave 2 down here. So this move that's coming down here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here would be a wave 2, and we would look at this here as also an expanded flat with an A wave up here and a C wave down here for wave 2. So in this case, we would see the market move up from that point, which is also quite possible as well. That would be the case if this moves here, if this moves down here for wave 1 here and does an ABC for wave 2 and then moves down. So that's kind of viable as well, And yeah, so that's that. There is another pattern that you could look at as well, which we might as well just talk about here while we've got it here. So there's those two. I know this is really complicated. It's not what you want to hear. You just want, you know, you just want answers, and but sometimes you just have to be a little bit patient to get those answers. And the other side of the coin here is a little bit weird, but you know how in the bigger picture that this here is wave 4 down here. Okay, so this is wave 4 here. Let me just put that a decent size there. And then we could have wave 5 up here, because that's where we're heading to, right? So the other point with all of this is that we end up with just bear with me a second, with wave 3, 4 and 5 up here for this. So I'm just giving you all the possibilities at this point, you know, that's all. So this would be here, and this would be an ending pattern here. This would be an ending 5th wave here. So we'd end up seeing something like this ending here for this. So this would play out here a little bit like down here, up here as an ABC pattern, and then have sort of 3 waves up here ending at that point. That's the other possibility at this point. But either way, whichever it is, whichever way the cookie's going to crumble, this top will be taken out. That's all I can tell you. How it actually plays out here, I'm not too sure. Anyway, it's food for thought. You might have had a few ideas yourself, and here's a couple more. But it'll be likely one of these patterns. But all I can say for sure is that because this is 3 waves here, this top will be taken out. It's how it does it that I don't know at this point, because I don't know where the currencies are. You know, that's my problem. Well, just one of my issues really, but we won't go there. Alrighty, so that's gold. So we'll keep sort of talking and tracking about that. And silver here is a bit of a different beast, as I've mentioned before. It's been traveling sideways for a long time. It's doing all this, so it's probably in some sort of triangle here where we've got wave A, B, C, D and E over here. So some sort of A wave, B wave and C wave here. Now it could be some sort of expanded flat. We could actually just end up with a larger 5 wave move down here. I'm not quite sure, but this is a reasonable an assumption at this point. But the main point is we don't have any long trades or short trades here in these markets. We'll probably have some shortly, but we see the stochastics pulling down here on the daily chart. So it's just set on normal settings. Normally I run it much faster, but so that wave B bounce there, you know, at the 61.8% would be, you know, wouldn't be far off the money. But anyway, I don't have any trades here, just shooting the breeze for some ideas. And when we come to the metals and mining here, there's a couple of ways this could play out as well. So I need, first of all, to work out what copper is doing. And to work out what copper is doing, this is copper here, we're looking at this here as either 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. And we're in a bullish point of that at that stage. Or we need to look at it as an A and a B and a C. But any move above this top here, and then we could be more bullish about it. And if we look at this on the futures market, let's bring this over to here on the futures market. This is the futures market here. We've got a nice A, B, C down here for this, and it works quite nicely. But once again, we end up with this 3 wave move here. So we need to see a move across the top here for this. And yeah, in the meantime here, look, I mean, it's 3 waves here. It could just drop from here. That's the issue with it, you know. And even if it's bullish, this could be an A wave here, because it counts kind of nice as 5 waves. So it could be an A and a B and a C wave down to here and then push up. Do you know what I mean? So we can't make any moves too quick on this. So, you know, when we're looking at, because we're in Australia here, we're looking at at BHP here. You know, we're still expecting another high here for this, and we'll be looking at iron ore in a moment, so we can have a look at Fortescue as well. So all these stocks that we trade here are doing what they're supposed to be doing. The other one's RIO. So I mean, BHP's traded in about 6 countries. I think they might have pulled out of Frankfurt. I'm not sure. Where's RIO here? Yeah, same here. So nothing to sort of rock the boat about these stocks that we've just been in Australia that we've been sort of checking out. But I've still got to sort out the copper thing. It's not there just yet on this. So this is iron ore out of Singapore, but we're just going to go to out of China here. So this is a little bit of a cleaner chart here. Look, we're in a nice trend here. It's going to keep going. This is in 1. So at this price point here, it's going to stick here. It's going to be here for a while. There's going to be, you know, a wave 4 after this particular top comes into play over here, and it's going to be, you know, so all through Christmas, it's going to be, you know, nothing's going to be happening here for this, but the stocks will still push up, you know, because this is buoyant at the moment, and it does need to move higher, a little 1, 2, 3, 4. It needs to keep pushing higher, and that will let that's enough fuel for, you know, the Rios and FMGs and Vale and BHP and all of those to keep heading down their pathway. So all good on the iron ore front. It's just copper that I can't resolve just yet. So iron ore is good. We've got to resolve the copper here. Uranium is good. You know, we know that we've got that. You know, we've got a big 5-wave structure here as 1 and 2. So we know that this has got a long way to go up here. You know, but at the old high at 30 here, if you know the trading levels a little bit, then we're going to be stuck dancing around the 30. We're going to be above it. We're going to be below it. We're in a series of 4s and 5s. It's going to get messy, yada, yada, yada. So it's going to be something like, you know, and I'm just sort of guessing here. So it'd be something like this staying in group 2 and group 1 here. That will be the swing range for it. And then be pushing up at that point, you know. Well, not so squeezy easy, it'd be something like that. But anyway, so all we need to do is we're not going to do any more buying in this until we get over here and then over to here. And we're not using any leverage in this. We're not going to be paying any overnight financing. We're just in this ETF here. So it's a slog, but it's somewhere to park your ass while you sort of, you know, twiddling your thumbs, so to speak. So that's that. That's that one. And we come over to the energy sector. So the XLE here. So the bottom line here is that this will be the same as crude as well, and we'll look at crude in the bigger picture today. But this move down through here is a corrective move. So at some time in the future, this top is going to be taken out because this is a corrective pattern. At the same time, this ABC here makes up another larger wave A here, then an A, B, and C for the B wave over here. So we can either have an A, B, copy this wave C here, C, D, and E over here. So it could work into a triangle, or we're going to have this as a simple A, B, and we're going to come down and take the low out here because it's corrective, and then push up. So I don't know if we're going to end up in a triangle pattern or we're going to come down here further. There's cases for both of them, but that's where we are. That's where crude is. And let's take that image and look at crude here. So first of all, with crude here, we can look at this in this way here, where we have from the last high above the $90 here. This is a CFD as 1 and 2 here, and then all the way down for 3, 4, and 5. So it'll be 4 and 5 to come down here. So that could be the end of it at this point, but there is a big account that we need to have a look at. Okay, so with that in mind, we can go to the, let's just see what I've done on the weekly chart here. It'll be a slightly different account. We might need to go monthly. Okay, so Okay, there's a couple of things to talk about here, but we'll look at the monthly as well, so you know we are in the bigger picture still, so why I've got this here and so on, because whichever way you want to count this move up here, right, it's corrective. So that means that this low is going to be taken out here. So this 5 waves that I just showed you that's moving down here, it's quite possible that all of this is just wave 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 down here. So I counted 5 waves down. So if I go back now, you'll see the 5 waves, but we need this 5. If it's going to come down here, it could just come down here, take out the low here, which would be suffice at this point, and then it could move up from this point by just taking that low out. So if we go back to, I don't even know if it wasn't the daily chart we looked at, was it? Lost the plot here. Oh yeah, this will do though. It's not it wasn't the same chart, but you see this low here. This low could go here or go over here. I kind of prefer it here, but that's another story. It's an A and a B and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But so what we would need here is we would need to see this finish off here, give us a wave 4, which will be complicated, and then down for wave 5. If we can get a decent move down here to satisfy that could be the low. So we could go the B wave up here, and it really needs to go there and so on, but it doesn't really matter. Oops. Doesn't matter. Yeah, so it could take out this low here, and then we could move up from that point. It's either going to be that, or this becomes wave 1 here, and then we have wave 2 over here, and we go down further. Because if we go back to the daily, weekly chart here for a moment. We'll look at all of this in a moment, but to fit it into the bigger picture, so to speak. So these are the two options, you know. We either have 5 waves counted down here, we take that low out, we could go up at that point, or we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here, down into a lower point here. So going over into the monthly chart here with this, I'm not very good at crude really. I don't like trading it, so it's a bit of a gnarly critter. So this is what I was sort of thinking of here with this. So you could count this in different ways. You could count this down, down here as an A and a B and a C wave for the A wave, the B wave and C wave here in 3. So it's a triangle pattern, A, B, C, D, and E over here. So there've been a lot of markets like this that have traveled sideways for a long time here. You know, there's lots of markets around the world. One of them that I was pointing out this morning, which is coming over to here, which is this one here, which is the Chinese one here. So that's been going since 2007. And this is a monthly chart, and it's a massive triangles, an A and a B and a C and a D and an E over here. So it still needs to finish off here. We can see the accumulation, you know, coming in through all of this here. But when this is finished, then it goes again. So this is probably a good time for crude to push up as well, because obviously, you know, stocks and, manufacturing rather, whatever, you know, and crude, oil, energy all go together, so to speak. So this pattern's been quite common. You know, it was in the Russian market, it was in the emerging markets, it's in some of the banks as well, and some of the finances as well. So it's a bit of a common pattern through the markets. Alrighty. So yeah, look, all I can say you can see here that, you know, in this case, if we put the B wave here, it would make kind of sense for it to come down to here as an A and a B and a C, because a lot of the time there's a correlation between the equality between the length of wave A and wave C. So coming down into this space here, it's not such a big thing after all, is that when you look at the bigger picture of things, it's, you know, it's quite plausible at that point. Okay, so anyway, that's that. And then we come over to natural gas, and I've been looking at natural gas, as you know, as wave 3 here and wave 4 here. We need to come down to wave 5. Once we've got wave 5 down here, we're going to treat that as wave A, and then we'll have an ABC back up. As I mentioned yesterday, you know, will probably come down to 180, 150 or something eventually. We've got to take out that low here. And yeah, for the next years, next year at least, all of 2024, we're going to be, we're going to be in here somewhere. This is where we're going to be, in here. We're going to be in here somewhere, So that's that. I mean, we'll end up coming down here a bit further, but that will be that. So we could even go a bit higher, but we're going to be in this price range here. We're not going out of that. In the meantime here, we're looking at this here as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and then the third. So we're coming down here further. I'll just have a quick look at the futures markets and stuff. So over here, we'll go to gas. So yeah, so there's not much change in the futures on NYMEX, and this is the spot market here. There's slightly different count on this one. The tops are different on these guys, and this is the what's the name fund here. So gas fund. Yeah, we can look at it like this too. Still needs to come down further. And the E-mini futures on these here as well. I've got to put it there. There can be a retest of this here. It's too, when a market moves through a level, it has retested it, and it's still in line with its trend here. But we might get down here. It might be another one, so I'll just leave that there. But if anybody's still hanging in there on that, but what you can see here, whichever way you want it, because at least like on the spot market, that's the top, and then these ones here have got different tops. So there's different ways to count this. We can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So we could look at this as wave 1 and 2 here, and then the third wave would still need to come down here further. It'd be something like this. So they're all a little bit different, but they're all in their own way. They're all sort of deep into the third wave at that point, They're not far off, crude oil really as well in that sense, Alrighty, that's your blimmin' lot. Thanks for putting up with me. I'll check you later. Cheers.